Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am fine. I thought I had the job. They were discussing salary, but apparently it's not final yet. So I interviewed with the team today, two controllers and an analyst in finance, and the boss. So I interviewed with the boss on Friday. Today was the group getting to, it was supposed to be like a meet and greet. Do they like me? They started interviewing me. Tell me about your resume. Tell me about your skills. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. I go, really? Okay. So I told them. But when the manager got on, I said, oh, thank you for choosing me. I'm very happy to join your team. And I thought I had the job, as I told everybody, because that's what this idiot recruiter told me. Well, he implied. He says, well, no, this was an interview. I didn't say you had the job. And I was like, yeah, you kind of referred to it. You talk salary. You said, congratulations, everything went well. This is what we'll negotiate for salary, and you need vacation. That sounds like I got the job. So I kind of inferred that I got, to the hiring manager. I'm thanking her for the job. She kind of had this like look on her face. I didn't hire you yet. So I talked to two recruiters, my GM one and my Hurley one, and I said, did I fuck up? They said, no, they liked you for the first interview to bring you back for the second to meet the team. I don't think you did anything that the team wouldn't like you. The manager thought you were fine with doing SQL and your accounting and everything else. I don't think, anything. So he said, but I would send an apology email saying, oh, I'm sorry for the miscommunication. I thought I got the job. Apparently I don't have it. I don't have it yet. So I apologize for that. She said, but it shouldn't be a big deal. I talked to another recruiter and she said, no, it should be fine. Shit happens. But she liked you and she brought you back. So it shouldn't be. Okay, we'll see. I'll know tomorrow. Here I'm telling Jenna I got the job, and everybody else, my buddies, I got the job, you guys, and we'll see. I thought it went okay. And the recruiter comes on the last 2 minutes, and he says, oh, it looks like it didn't go well. Nobody was smiling. And I'm like, wow, it wasn't that type of interview. They didn't smile at all. And from the beginning, they all had this kind of serious look on their face. I said, I thought the interview went very well. For me explaining myself and my resume and my Mercedes and everything else. I said, so I don't know what you're talking about. You come in the last 30 seconds and they're not smiling. You think it didn't go well. Who is this guy? Man, when my recruiter gets back, she's on vacation. I'm going to just give her a mouth. Like, thanks for warning me about this guy's an idiot. These millennials. Oh, my God. So anyway, hopefully I got the job. But we'll find out. Anyway, let's look at gold. Comex is having fun. It was 24.15 until 8 o'clock, and it took a sharp dip to 23.94. Came back to 24.02, and then took another derivative down to 23.83, and we're at 23.87. So they're trying to bat it down, but they can't. And I don't know if it's because they want the gold price down or they're just making money in the derivatives. I'm a little confused on that. But okay, silver, 26.96. What the fuck is that? That's so these countries can buy for the solar panels. That's all that is. Getting the price down so they can afford it. So not really sure what to think of silver, except for it's a buy. This is a joke. So because we understand its derivatives, we don't get upset at silver 26.96 thinking that's the real price. See, we understand it's not the free market price. It's the government slash banks price controlling it. Oh, well, if it's price control. And then the question is, well, when do we get out of the price control? When can we get to a free market? And that's really what BRICS is about, hopefully. A gold-backed currency should get us to a free market. But we'll see. We know they're going to price it higher. And the U.S. is blowing up. Let's take a look at the stock market today. Anyway, so gold 23.88, silver 27. Unbelievable. So let's check what's going on in stocks. I'm not really paying attention because I'm not in the market. Stocks today, 11 minutes ago. Stocks jumped Tuesday, recovering some losses from the previous 3 trading days as investors took a pause from recession fears. Dow ends up 300 points, post a 1% gain after Monday's big hit. Okay. So the market got back 300 points. So let me get this. They jumped, recovering some as investors took a pause from recession fears. So wait, recession fears aren't here? They were here, but they're not here now. So wait a minute. We had a recession on Monday, but now we don't really. Or is it just JP Morgan printing a bunch of dollars, throwing it into the market to make the market look good? We got an election coming up. We can't look like our economy's shit. So that's all this is. This whole stock market thing's bullshit. It's money going in just to elevate it so it looks good. This is the problem. So knowing this, this is bullshit, but we know it's all the whole thing's bullshit, right? It's all Ponzi scheme. All right, so that's stocks today. We see what gold's at. They're trying to make the economy look good. They want the election. It's insane. All right. Baseball tonight. Looks like it's all night games. Is there anything played? The California and the Yankees has been postponed. Okay. We had rain here. There you go. Detroit's at Seattle, so Detroit had to fly to the West Coast. And the White Sox lost again to Oakland. That should be my only bet today. Yesterday was luscious, but I didn't have any big bets. Cleveland loses. The Niners over 9, lost. Houston over 8, plays a 2-1. No, like a 4-3 game. That lost. Minnesota over 8, that lost. Kansas City lost. Philadelphia lost, and the only winner was Oakland over the White Sox. Amazing. Just amazing. So every place I should have played the over or the under, I played the team. And everywhere I played the over under, I should have played the team. Well, that happens. All right, let's look at today. We start off with Arizona and Cleveland. Arizona's favored, 105-8. Edward Rodriguez, I think, was on the Tigers last year. I don't think he's played. No, he hasn't played at all this year. Yeah, it was on Detroit. Started 26 games, went 13-9 with a ERA of 3.3. So let's say he's a 3.3. Maybe. Against Ben Lively for Cleveland, 10-6 with the 3.42. Rodriguez's first game. We had Cleveland yesterday. They lost. It's like teams like Arizona and Miami have been playing well. So, what do we do here? Arizona's favored. Over under of 8. So can a guy just walk in the first game in August and just go 7 innings of no-hit ball? I find that hard to believe. But he's pretty good. Cleveland has not been hitting well. Let's go under in this game. Let's go Arizona under 8, and we'll go 2 units. Don't love it, but San Diego, Pittsburgh. We didn't play this one. This was a high-scoring game yesterday. San Diego minus 175-8. Dylan Cease, 11-8 with the 3.42. Bailey Falter, 5-7 with the 3.95. Over under of 8. They've been scoring runs, but Dylan Cease has been pitching better. Yeah, okay. Let's go San Diego here. 3 units. Cincinnati, Miami played a high-scoring game. I think Cincinnati won yesterday. Cincinnati minus 135. I thought that was a floater in my eye. It was a spider coming down. Nick Lodoto, 8-4 at the 3.99. Max Meyer, 2-1 with the 3.81 for Miami. Over under of 8. Now, I did update my sheet. So my sheet now has the batting average, home and road, and I tried to get the ERA home and road. I can't find it, but I'll look for it. So let's look. So let's finish this game. Cincinnati, Miami. Cincinnati hits 227 at home, 228 on the road. Very consistent. A 3.65 ERA. They don't hit much. Miami hits 241 at home, 234 on the road. Not really a difference. And they 3.69. We had threes. High scoring game yesterday, but I don't want to go with that because you got to go by the pitchers. So I think Lodolo, this could be an under, but I'm not going to bet it. Cincinnati under 8 just to get a feel for it. Now I'm going to go through. Let's go through this for a minute. Big swings. Atlanta 252 at home, 226 on the road. Colorado 267 at home, 219 on the road. Kansas City 270 at home, 236 on the road. Minnesota 266 at home, 242 on the road. The New York Mets 233 at home, 266 on the road. Frisco 255 at home, 233 on the road. Seattle 205 at home. Jesus, 231 on the road. San Diego 248 at home, 279 on the road. Tampa Bay 228 at home, 242 on the road. And that's our beloved Tigers 233 at home, 226 on the road. So you can see most teams there's no difference. Colorado is an exception. And then you got 4 or 5 teams. The Cubbies 228 at home, 240 on the road. But then like Cincinnati 227, 228. So Not really a lot there. The worst pitching team are the White Sox at 504 and Colorado at 563. However, I've got to find where I can break that home and road because I guarantee you Colorado is much higher at home. But when we get into the White Sox, 504, they're probably bad both ways. Cleveland's the best at 260. And Atlanta's now 295, so Atlanta's under. Anyway, the only two over 5 are the White Sox, Colorado. And again, these are, Toronto 502. Okay, back to this. The 49ers and the Redskins, 1983 NFC Championship game. Joe Montana brought them down from 21-0 to 21-all. And the worst pass interference call on Ronnie Lott you ever saw in your life. What a joke. The Redskins win 24-21. We cover with Joe Montana as a dog in a playoff game. The Niners, Hayden Birdsong, 3-0 with a 2.97 against Big Tex Mackenzie Gore for Washington, 6-9 with a 4.50, a 4.54. And we're going to take the 49ers here, 2 units. Kenzie Gore, 6-9 with a 4.54. The Niners, as I just said, are hitting, I don't know, they're 230. We'll see. The Niners are hitting okay. Not as much as I thought. 255. All right. Baltimore and Toronto. Baltimore 155-9. Grayson Rodriguez 13-4 with a 3.86. Chris Bassett 8-10 with a 4.02. I'm going to go over 9 here. I love Baltimore over. They just can hit. Good God. We'll call 3 units here. Toronto should be able to. Let's see what Toronto is. Let's take a look. Toronto's hits 243 at home, 237 on the road. And Baltimore's 258 at home, 254 on the road. So Baltimore hits no matter where. Okay, perfect. That's what I like. 386 against a 402 pitcher. Yeah, we need 9 runs. Yeah, we should get there. Milwaukee and Atlanta. Atlanta 135-9. Colin Ray from Milwaukee, 9-3 with a 3.59 against Bryce Elder, 2-4 with a 5.67. Atlanta is at home, hits 252 at home with a 2.95 ERA. And Milwaukee, let's see, a 3.29 ERA, hits 253 on the road. I don't like Atlanta here. Elder 2-4 with a 5.67. Colin Ray 9-3 with the free. Once you get to the bullpen, nobody's hitting here. I'm going to go Milwaukee under. I don't trust Milwaukee. 2 units. I don't trust Milwaukee here. Atlanta at home could get it. Tampa Bay, St. Louis. A new one, St. Louis, 155, 7.5. Jeffrey Springs, 0-0 with the 4.91 for Tampa. Sonny Gray, 10-6 with the 3.72. Keeps appearing and disappearing. Sonny Gray's normally the play. Tampa's been playing really well. St. Louis, up and down. I'm going to leave this game alone. Houston, Texas. Framber Valdez for Houston, 10-5 with a 3.56 against Tyler Mahle. 0-0 with an 0-0-0. What the hell do we do with these 0-0s? It's funny, these pitchers never pitched before, come in and throw shutouts. You're like, well, why hasn't he been pitching before? So, again, there's not much I can do. Houston's a 115 favorite with Framber Valdez. 8.5 over under. But they played a 2-1 game yesterday. I had Houston over 8 and it wasn't even close. So I'm not going there. I got to get my bats woken up. Altuve, let's go. The Twins at the Cubs. The Twins won, but they didn't score a lot against the Cubbies. The Cubbies are hitting a whopping 228 at home, and they are at home. Minnesota is hitting 242 on the road, 266 at home. Pablo Lopez for Mini, 10-7 with the 4.65. Shoma Imanaga, I think they got him from Toronto, 8-2 with the 3.09. In Wrigley, holy shit, the Minnesota 115 over under 6. How do you have an over under 6 at Wrigley Field unless the wind's blowing in? I guess that's crazy. Um, I don't know how you go under in this game. I don't care who's pitching. You got Lopez with the 4.65 and Imagama, and let's see the bullpens. Cubs with the 3.70, Minnesota. I got to go over here. I got to go over. All right, Mini over 6. I'm going to make this a 5-star. That's ridiculous. These pitchers are not Verlander and Scherzer going at each other. Then I could see a 6. And even then it wouldn't probably stay. But sorry, I don't smell what they're cooking with a 6 with these pitchers. Let's go over Boston and KC. Boston won yesterday. KC minus 138.5. We got Brian Bello for Boston, 10-5 with a 5.13 against Seth Lugo, 13-5. All right, we're going Seth Lugo. KC, 3 units. We got our ace, 2.57 ERA against 5.13. Now, the interesting thing is he's 10-5 with the 5 ERA. That's crazy. The Mets at Colorado. We got Luis Servino for the Mets, 7-4 with a 3.93, and Kyle Freeland, 3-4 with a 5.64. The Mets are 155 and 11.5. Holy shit. The Mets are better hitters on the road. They hit 233 at home, 266 on the road. And we know Colorado at home hits 267. Colorado's ERA is probably in the 5s. And the Mets are 4, but again, I don't have that breakout home and road, which I'll find. Servino with the 4 ERA, Freeland with the 5.5 ERA. It's a lot of number though. 11.5 in baseball. And the funny part is it'll probably go over, but what do you do here? Well, both teams. Colorado hits 50 points higher at home, and the Mets are 30 points higher on the road. Probably be a high-scoring game, but I don't know. 11.5. I'm going to leave that alone. Maybe at 10 I would have won it, but 11.5. That's like a 75 in college football and over. The White Sox in Oakland. We don't even have to look. We go Oakland, 5 units. I don't care who's pitching for either team. Jonathan Cannon, 1-5 with the 4.11 against Ross Stripling, 2-10 with the 5.64. We're going Oakland. I mean, they've lost, 20, 21 in a row, and you just go with the streak. This is the typical, they're losing, you keep betting against them. All right. Detroit at Seattle. Seattle minus 210, 7.5. Kenter Montero, he's been coming out of the bullpen. He's been pitching like they'll have somebody pitch the first inning because I guess he doesn't know how to start. And then he comes in the second inning with his 6.8 ERA. Luis Castillo for Seattle, 9-10 with the 3.43. Detroit on the roads hitting a whopping 226. Seattle at home hitting a whopping 205. Oh, my God. And what should be an easy over, Seattle with the 3.86 ERA, Detroit with the 4.23. We got to go over here. Seattle over 7.5. We'll go 3 units. It's too low for these pitchers, and they can hit, but here's where the average you go. But they can't hit a Verlander or Scherzer, guys like that, right? Hugh Darvish, Dylan Cease. But I think they can hit Kendon Montero and Luis Castillo. I don't think they can't hit those guys. And last but not least, Philly and the Dodgers. The Dodgers won 6-5 yesterday. Philly minus 110, 8.5. Christopher Sanchez, 7-7 with the 3.36. Clayton Kershaw, who looks like a pig, 0-1 with the 5.87. I got to go over. LA over 8.5. Kershaw, for some reason, he always has high scoring games. Like you always think, oh, I should bet it under. It's 7. It's 7.5. And the Dodgers score like 5 runs, and and it ends up being an 8-4 ball game. So they played like a 6-5 game. I'm not afraid of Kershaw. And Christopher Sanchez, 7-7 with the 3.36. The Dodger bullpen sucks. Let's look at it. Let's look at our Dodgers and Phillies. Dodgers 3.57 bullpen. And at home, they hit 249. On the road, they hit 254. Nothing big. Philly, 403 bullpen. 259 at home, 251 on the road. So neither bullpen's all that. 357 and 4. So let's go through it. Angels and Yankees are postponed. We got Arizona under 8, 2 units. San Diego, Dylan Cease, 3 units. San Francisco, 2 units. Baltimore over 9, 3 units. Milwaukee under 9, 2 units. Minnie over 6, 5 units. KC, 3 units. Oakland, 5 units. Seattle over 7.5, 3 units. And the Dodgers over 8.5, 3 units. So my biggest play is betting against the White Sox. I love it. All right, let's look at baseball. Let's go to the NFL. Let's see. We talked about this, taking stock of 6 quarterbacks situation, a waste of time. Fist fly at Giants, Lions joint practice. So you think because you have a joint practice, that's like an exhibition game, and I don't need an exhibition game. I'm going to have a joint practice. Do they even wear pads? IU 49ers split has been 2 years in the making. Who cares? But problem is the Niners took this guy out of Florida. It sucks. So that's not an answer to your receiver issue. Patriots, Juden explains heated exchange with head coach. Nobody gives a shit. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh denies NCAA. See, Jim Harbaugh is totally guilty. Like he's saying, I didn't know about the cheating, about stealing signs. He didn't know about it. So you have a guy on your team that you are paying, and you're the head coach, and he's stealing signs, and you don't know about it. Really? Oh, okay. You sound like these people in the Congress who they'll ask the FBI director, well, what happened? I don't know. I forgot. I can't answer that question. That's what Harbaugh sounds like. So I guess if you don't know, you just say, I don't remember. Should I have said that in the interview today? Tell us about your resume. I don't remember. Tell us about what you did at Mercedes. I honestly don't remember. I mean, what a joke. What is that? Anyway, that's what's going on. Rams, Pukanuka reportedly week to week with knee injury. It's bullshit. He's fine. Very minor. Now, the other guy, Cooper Kupp. So you give Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Pukanuka. How the Lions going to cover that mess? I mean, he's going to throw for 500 yards in that game because they don't have a pass rush, and they don't have anybody covering. And it's Stafford. I mean, you're in big trouble. Fights break out at Giants Lions training camp. Daniel Jones involved. Well, maybe that'll make him a better quarterback. He can't quarter, he'll fight. So let me see what I think happened. The Lions actually got a sack, and he didn't like it because he's not supposed to get hit because this is training camp. Nobody's supposed to get hurt. Lions rookie cornerback Terrion Arnold evaluated for concussion, whatever. Sean Payton must get Bo Nix ready to justify the big bet placed on there. Oh, he doesn't have to justify anything. It's like Minnesota justifying J.J. McCarthy. There's nothing you can do. Why are the Broncos all in on Bo Nix? Because he's a damn good quarterback. Better than half the guys in the league now. All right. So we don't need to go through the line week one. We do that. We can look at the exhibition and let's see. So let's look at exhibition. And they're not here. So I'll go to my other site. So let's look at what's going on in the exhibition world starting August 8th, which is 2 days. Today's Thursday. New England 6.5, 33.5 over Carolina. The two worst teams in the league playing each other. That makes sense. Have no idea. Now, you'd think Drake May would play. We think you should see Steve Young, but probably won't see either of them. They need to not get hurt. The best thing that could happen is they get hurt. You tried at the Giants, they'll be fighting. And they're fine because they practice together, so they don't need to play a game. The Giants are 3.5, 34.5. I assume the game's in New York. Then nobody plays. Daniel Jones should play at least a half because he sucks, but they don't want to get him hurt. I don't know why not. And Detroit, they won't play anybody because they might get hurt. It's so stupid. Pittsburgh won over Houston, 37.5. Interesting. Here's where you might go, Pittsburgh, because they got Russell Wilson and they got Fields. Somebody's going to play. And I would imagine at least Fields. Now, he's terrible at quarterback. He's a good running back. But who does Houston got? Nobody. Even if they played C.J. Stroud, he's terrible. So I don't know what they got. But that's where you might play Pitt because of the quarterback battle. You're getting a better quarterback in there. Miami and Atlanta 2.5, 38.5. Now, again, if it's Penix playing, and I don't know what's happening with Cousins against Miami, Tagliavoa, I doubt he's playing. I don't know who their backup is. But if you're going to get Penix, that's a good bet for Atlanta. Miami don't have anybody close to that. So we'll see how it shakes out in the preseason. You'd think they'd get Penix out there. Philly and Baltimore, they both want to win. Philly is a 1-point favorite at Baltimore, 34.5 over under. Baltimore loves winning in the preseason. Philly doesn't, but this year they're going to play because they got crushed last year at the end, and they're trying to figure it out. And he's going to play his players a bit more. So look for Philly. Look for this to be a real game here. Washington and my JETSs. Washington 2.5, 34.5. I know you're not going to see Aaron Rodgers. As far as Washington, are you going to see Washington? Are you going to see? I bet you see my guy Hartman. I don't know that you'll see Daniels, but you should see Hartman. And the Jets, I don't know who their backup is this year. But so keep an eye on Washington with Hartman. He'll try to prove himself, and he'll throw for 4 touchdowns. The Bears against Buffalo. The Bears 1.5 at Buffalo. You kidding me? Over under 38. You getting Josh Allen? Probably not. Caleb, no, he doesn't need practice. He's great without it. Um, I mean, I would tease Buffalo here on principle that why are the Bears favored? Yeah, I mean, the guy had a good first game, but don't expect that to continue. Oakland and Minnesota, Super Bowl 16, 15, 9, 10, Super Bowl 11. Old man Willie. So we got Oakland 3.5, 4, Minnesota 39. Gardner Minshew, I don't know. Brock Bowers, I don't know. Minnesota, God, what are you going to do? Play J.J. McCarthy? Sam Darnold? God knows Sam Darnold needs to work. J.J. McCarthy needs he needs more. He's just not good. I don't know. The problem is they're not. How are they going to play their defense? So we don't know. We got to watch week 1 and see. But I doubt anybody play. That's the problem. How do you bet on guys that aren't playing? Green Bay, Cleveland, 2.5, 39.5. This would be a good game if they actually played it. Now, I think you can bet Cleveland here because they got 18 backup quarterbacks. If you're not using Deshaun Watson, who should play in this game, he hasn't played in 2 years. You got Thompson Robinson from UCLA, who needs playing time, and whoever else they got. I don't need my 4th-string guy out there. I need Deshaun Watson and Thompson Robinson out there a little bit, at least a quarter. Green Bay, Love won't play. The receivers won't play. The running backs won't play. And then what do you do defensively? I mean, they're not playing their defense. This is very unusual. KC, Jacksonville. Jacksonville, 2.5, 39. I would bet KC here because Mahomes is going to play a little. He plays in the preseason. Not a lot. He'll give you the first quarter. Trevor Lawrence ain't playing. Oh, their backup's Mac Jones from New England because he was so good at New England. I bet Jacksonville picked him up just so they could use him in the preseason. I still like Andy Reid, even with the 8th-string quarterback to score points. I think Casey's a live dog at 8.5. Cincinnati, Tampa. Cincinnati, 4.5, 38.5. Joe Burrow. Give me a couple of series. You got to get your timing down. Is Chase playing? Don't know. Tampa. It's real tough to take Tampa here. I mean, they're back up. Well, maybe they'll get my guy out there. What's his name? The guy from Florida is really good who got beat out. Oh, yeah, Kyle Trask. Really good quarterback. They're going with Baker because he's played before. Well, if you don't give Kyle Trask time, what you going to do? So you will see Kyle Trask. So I do like Tampa with Kyle Trask. How long does he play? I don't know. And we got to see the 4th-string quarterback because we're too stupid to evaluate him. We have to see him on the field. We're too stupid. We have to watch the Titanic. We know it's sinking, but we have to see it go into the water before we realize it's sinking. Frisco and Tennessee. Tennessee, 4.5, 38.5. I have no idea. McCaffrey won't play. The defense won't play. Purdy, I don't know who the backup is. So this will be interesting. San Diego and Seattle. We have Seattle, 1.5, 35. San Diego has Herbert's not playing, so you're looking at the 2 or 3 4th-stringers. And I doubt the defense plays. Seattle, I don't know if they use Geno Smith. Is Lockett playing? Is Metcalf playing? Probably not. That's why you can't do anything. Arizona and New Orleans. New Orleans, 1.5, 36.5. Arizona got um, Marvin Harrison with Kyler Murray, but this isn't Ohio State. I mean, I don't know what they'll be. They'll be more of they're an offensive team anyway, so they'll be a little more offensive. We'll get more points out of them. New Orleans, you could see Jake Hader in the game. You won't see Olave, and you won't see Kamara, but Hader will light you up a little bit. Denver and Indy. Indy 1.5, 38. Bo Nix, maybe he plays. They have a pretty good backup. Strider, I think. I don't know. We'll see how much Bro Nix plays. The Rams in Dallas. Dallas is minus 435. So I doubt Stafford plays Pukanuka or Cooper Kupp. Dallas, they're gonna play CD Lamb, Zeke Elliott. Prescott should play the whole game. God knows he needs help. But I don't know why Dallas is favored at the Rams. And this makes no sense. Oh, okay, that's it. And then we get to the week one. All right. Week one, we can quickly go through the lines. KC 3, 46.5. Philly from Brazil, 1.5, 48.5. Chicago, 4.5, 43.5. Houston, 1.5, 2, 48. Buffalo, 6.5, 48 over Arizona. Cincinnati, 9, 42.5 over New England. Atlanta, 2.5, 43 over Pitt. New Orleans, 5, 40.5 over Carolina. Miami, 3.5, 49 over Jacksonville. The NYJ, -1, Minnesota -1, over under 41.5 in this game. It'll probably end in a tie. Denver, Seattle, 5.5, 42 to Denver. San Diego, Oakland, San Diego 3, 42.5 to Oakland. Cleveland 1.5, 44 to Dallas. Tampa 4, 41.5 to Washington. Detroit 3.5, 51 Sunday Night Football. And San Francisco 5.5, 44.5 over the Jets, Jets. That's your week one. So the first were the preseason games. And then I just quickly ran through the regular season stuff. The week one stuff, September 5th. All right. All right, let's look at So I watched this video on, she says Biden planned, well, she doesn't really say it. Biden planned everything. But I watched the video, most of it, and I didn't really see her say that. So I don't know. The headline looks different. Now I know George Soros planned everything. I don't know about Biden. Biden's incoherent. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So let's see. We have China. 100 Japanese firms leave China. Let's take a look at this. We were watching it a little yesterday.
Announced it will end its 20-year joint venture with China's Baosteel. The contract will be terminated at the end of August when it expires. Nippon Steel finds it challenging to expand its business in China and plans to focus its investment resources in the United States and India. Nippon Steel stated that it plans to sell all its shares in the joint venture BNA to Baosteel for 1.76 billion renminbi, approximately 241 million US dollars, but this sale requires regulatory approval. Interestingly, during the joint venture, Nippon Steel filed a lawsuit in Japan in 2021 against Baosteel, alleging infringement on its electromagnetic steel sheet patent. This non-oriented electromagnetic steel was supplied by Baosteel to Toyota for electric vehicle manufacturing. So Nippon Steel also sued Toyota, seeking 20 billion yen in damages from both companies. The case is still ongoing. This is the latest instance of foreign companies withdrawing from China. Just a few days ago, on July 12th, Japanese construction machinery manufacturer Kato Works announced on its website that it would dissolve and liquidate its hydraulic excavator manufacturing and sales subsidiary in Kunshan, Jiangsu Province. Additionally, Kato Nakajima, Xiamen Construction Machinery Company, begin its liquidation process in August. After these closures, Kato Works will exit the Chinese market. The exodus of foreign capital from China is spreading from manufacturing to the beauty product sector. Japanese beauty brand Shiseido's high-end skincare line, Baum, announced it will withdraw from the Chinese market. The Baum Tmall flagship store recently posted a closure notice, stating it will no longer accept new orders starting July 10th. In 2024, another Japanese company, Bridgestone, announced its withdrawal. After more than 20 years in China, Bridgestone stated on February 27th that it will stop producing and selling commercial vehicle tires in China.
So what we can see is a lot of these big companies are leaving China because China's going broke, because they're communists. They just steal the money, or they won't let you leave, or you end up in prison in a hole for 50 years. So the Japanese people are getting anxious. Let's get the hell out of here and go to a different place. So that's what you have going on there. Again, another between communism and the inflation.
I'm not planning to pay for pension.
This is young people skip Social Security. You have an option in China if you want to pay into Social Security or not. We don't have that option here. So they're saying, well, why should I? They don't have any money, but we'll listen to this.
Insurance anymore. Why? Because I just started paying it at the end of last year, and now it's been almost a year. I always thought I had to pay pension insurance, but a few days ago, a new policy came out saying we have to retire at 65. I'm 40 this year, and that means if I have to retire at 65, I'll need to pay for another 25 years. Here in Hebei, it's over 10,000 yuan a month, and that's assuming Social Security costs don't go up. If I stay healthy and live to 80, I'll only get 15 years of pension, but I will have paid for 25 years. When you add it all up, it's over 300,000 yuan. So, do you think it's still worth paying? China's economy is weak, unemployment is high, and many people are in financial trouble. Lacking confidence in the future, many have stopped paying Social Security. I don't want to pay Social Security anymore. Many people born after 2000 don't want to pay it either. I feel that when I get old, there's a high chance that the national treasury will be in deficit. For those born in the 90s and 2000s, retirement is 20 to 30 years away. By then, the pension system might well be exhausted. We don't know how the social, corporate, and personal pensions will develop. Growing pessimism about the future has led these young people to stop having kids, stop buying houses, stop spending, and now stop paying Social Security.
I lost my job.
I lost my job too.
I paid Social Security for 6 years.
I paid into it for 9 years.
Now we're both gig workers. To be blunt, we're unemployed.
Why did they yell so much?
So we
when
have
they
no
talk?
income and can't afford to pay Social Security anymore.
We as a couple just don't have the means or ability to pay for Social Security anymore.
Whether you're young or middle-aged, stopping Social Security payments is a serious decision. Social Security is closely linked to buying a house, buying a car, children's education, and medical reimbursements. Its importance cannot be overstated. Recently, a Shenzhen resident had his phone number suddenly blocked. When he tried to unblock it, he was told he needed proof of continuous Social Security payments for the past 6 months. This caused an uproar. On July 15th, a man in Shenzhen posted a video saying that his phone number of 14 years was blocked for no reason. He couldn't understand the Social Security requirement and called it an unreasonable clause. He said that after his phone number was blocked, he contacted Shenzhen China Mobile's customer service. He was told he needed to bring his ID, proof of residence, SIM card, and the latest Social Security information to the office to unlock it. Since he no longer works in Shenzhen, he couldn't provide Shenzhen Social Security information, and his request to unblock the number was denied. People speculated that Shenzhen Mobile's requirement for proof of Social Security payment might be a tactic to enforce Social Security payments. After the incident was exposed, it sparked
Whoa, careful, Steph. You heard Mr. Walton's...
force Social Security payments. After the incident was exposed, it sparked widespread discussion online. Netizens questioned, do people who can't afford Social Security or who are unemployed not deserve to use their phones? Under public pressure, Shenzhen Mobile's official WeChat account issued a statement on July 25th claiming the phone was blocked due to fraud risk and stated that they had optimized the rules, no longer requiring Social Security information for verification. In Shenzhen, stopping Social Security payments is becoming more common because the amount to be paid has been rising. From January 1st, 2024, the base payment for Shenzhen's pension insurance increased from 2,360 yuan to 3,523 yuan, a nearly 50% increase. This means individuals face even more pressure to pay. Living costs in Shenzhen are high, and with Social Security payments increasing every year, it's manageable if you have a stable job. However, without one, the combined burden of Social Security and other living costs is overwhelming. Moreover, Social Security is tied to buying a house, buying a car, and children's education, making it even harder to establish a stable life in a major city. China is currently experiencing the most severe economic slowdown in nearly 4 decades, leading to widespread unemployment or insufficient savings. The primary reason young people don't want to pay Social Security is poverty. Recently, a Chinese media outlet interviewed Ms. Tong, who stopped paying Social Security. She used to work in media in Beijing, but quit her job without a backup plan. Due to long-term unemployment and rising Social Security payments in Beijing, she had no choice but to stop paying. Ms. Tong said, Social Security used to symbolize a sense of security for me, but with unstable income, it has become a real burden on my life. Non-Beijing
So basically, to sum it up, they're defaulting on their Social Security like we're defaulting on ours, and therefore they have to pay in. So, well, what do? We force the age up. It used to be 59, then it's 60, 62, now it's 65, going to 67. You can still get Social Security at 62, but you don't get that as much. But my problem is, I worked last year and I got Social Security. Wait a minute, we can't pay you that much. Well, that's what we agreed on. And well, wait a minute, because you're working, you can't get it. So that's what's happening. So again, it's more socialism, more communism. The government isn't making it out of productivity. They're asking you to pay into it so you can draw out of it. Well, why should I pay into it? So you want me to give you $2,000 so I can get $1,000 out later? why don't I just take the money I'm earning and just put it in gold and I'm fine? Really ridiculous. So that's one of the problems. So again, with the government running things, it's worthless. And I mean, this is what they call a pension system, but they're bankrupting it. And it should, they stole from us when we were working. They took 7.65%, and the employer had to match it. So it's 15% that had to be matched for the Social Security, but it doesn't go into your account. It goes in and pays off other people. Then you need new people to come in to pay you. Well, now the new people aren't working. You got a mass unemployment and a recession, so nobody's going to be paying into it. Just a big nightmare. Anyway, so that's what's going on in China. They're in big trouble. Let's see. Talked about tariffs. I was watching Thomas Sowell, I mean, really good economist, conservative like us. So he's not a big fan of Obama. All right, so let's look at this. Dollar is finished.
Sadly, most people on Advantage plans today don't know that there's an additional option that gives them amazing.
Thanks to favorable trade terms and Russia's need to find new markets due to Western sanctions. What's even crazier is that during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to Russia, India and Russia set a super ambitious goal to hit $100 billion in bilateral trade by 2030. The irony is that European countries are now buying those refined oils from India, while the EU's imports of refined oil from India hit record levels. New Delhi's imports of Russian crude oil more than doubled year on year. Since the war started, European countries stopped buying crude oil directly from Russia, so India saw an opportunity, bought cheap crude oil from Russia, refined it, and then sold it back to European countries at a nice profit. Did the US condemn India for this? Nope. The US needs India as an ally to counter China, so there was no condemnation from the US or any European countries. In fact, according to Kepler data, Russian crude is likely being shipped to Europe in record amounts via India. But what does this have to do with de-dollarization? Simple. The trade between Russia and India is mostly done without using the dollar. Instead, they settle payments with other currencies like the Indian rupee, Russian ruble, and Chinese yuan. For example, India's Reliance Industries, which runs the world's biggest refining complex, signed a one-year deal with Russia's Rosneft to buy at least 3 million barrels of oil a month in rubles. India, the world's third biggest oil importer and consumer, has become the top buyer of seaborne Russian crude since the West stopped purchases and slapped sanctions on Moscow. On top of that, Russia's largest state-controlled bank, Sberbank, said that India and Russia have doubled their payments in national currencies since 2023. Since the start of this year, the volume of corporate deposits in rupees at Sberbank has increased sixfold. What's even more important to note is that with the rise of the BRICS nations, the push to de-dollarize will speed up and become more obvious. There are two main ways BRICS can de-dollarize. One is by creating a new BRICS currency, and the other is by setting up a platform for trading via local currencies, which is more likely to happen. Right now, the system is dominated by the US dollar, which accounts for about 90% of all currency trading. Until recently, nearly all oil trading was done in US dollars. However, in 2023, 1/5 of oil trades were reportedly made using non-US dollar currencies. This situation is heavily influenced by the US trade war with China and US sanctions on China and Russia. If the BRICS nations establish a new reserve currency or a platform to settle trades with local currencies, it could significantly impact the US dollar, potentially leading to a decline in demand. This would have major implications for the United States and the global economy. It's also said that Iran is getting involved in initiatives under Russia's leadership within BRICS, with both countries working towards creating a single currency for the bloc. An Iranian diplomat mentioned the creation of a new single currency within the framework of the association is what Russia and Iran are working on. Iran and Russia are the two most sanctioned countries, lacking access to Western payment systems, including Belgium-based SWIFT. They have been gradually connecting their respective payment systems, MIR and Shetab, to each other, and this connection is reportedly now active. Moscow and Tehran are at the forefront of developing parallel payment systems to the West, with the central banks of both countries working closely together. On the other hand, BRICS payments were previously promoted by Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov last year. She mentioned that instead of a new currency, a blockchain-based payment system called BRICS Pay has been suggested. We believe that creating an independent BRICS payment system is an important goal for the future, which would be based on state-of-the-art tools such as digital technologies and blockchain. The main thing is to make sure it is convenient for governments, common people, and businesses, as well as cost-effective and free of politics, said Yuri Ushakov. According to data gathered by Bloomberg, the Chinese yuan is already the most traded currency in Russia, and the country supports using it for trade settlements between Russia, Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The effort by BRICS to develop their own common currency, possibly backed by a variety of commodities like gold and other rare earth elements, has caused gold prices to skyrocket. Central bankers are actively accumulating substantial quantities of gold to diversify their foreign exchange reserves and reduce their reliance on the US dollar. This surge in gold purchases by central banks is currently driving gold prices to unprecedented levels. The People's Bank of China has continued its streak of gold purchases for the 17th consecutive month, marking its longest buying spree to date as it looks to diversify its reserves away from the dollar and hedge against currency depreciation. This strategic move by China reflects a deliberate effort to reduce its dependency on the dollar. Chinese policymakers are responding to concerns over the use of the dollar as a tool for foreign policy leverage, and China isn't alone in diversifying its forex reserves. Other countries, especially emerging market banks, are doing the same. Throughout 2023, China ended up being the top country buying the most gold. For the first quarter of 2024, Turkey, China, and India lead the way as the top 3 countries purchasing the most gold. Financial commentators speculate that China, along with other BRICS nations, is procuring large amounts of gold to challenge the US dollar. According to these speculations, BRICS and other developing countries are waiting for a recession to hit the US. The idea is to offload US dollars from their reserves and buy gold as a safety net against a recession. If gold dominates their reserves instead of the US dollar, their economies won't be as affected by a recession. By holding gold, these economies aim to shield themselves from the potential damage caused by the spiraling debt of the US dollar. Therefore, BRICS could be using gold to protect their economies and currencies from the fallout
Obviously.
during a US recession. A recession in the US could actually benefit BRICS nations as they move away from the dollar. The de-dollarization initiative might add further pressure on the US economy, causing dollar bills to flood back into the country. If that happens, the US could face hyperinflation. Prices of everyday essentials could skyrocket while wages remain stagnant. Job cuts might also occur as companies look to cut costs. This could signal the end of the US dollar as the dominant global currency. Do you agree with our analysis? Share your thoughts and leave your comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to show your support.
So you can see the world, the BRICS going, well, we don't want to be in the dollar. The U.S. has pissed them off, but they realize the value of the dollar is gone. So everybody's realizing the value of the dollar is gone because you can't have all that. And with the petrodollar gone, I watched somebody today, and again, they say, oh, no, the petrodollar's not gone. They didn't do it. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? The petrodollar, I think this idiot, this Gerald Clementine, I don't really like him, but he said the same thing. No, if the petrodollar was there, then it would be gone. And you're like, the fuck you talking about? Yeah, we watched Yankee Doodle Dandy, I think, yesterday. This guy's clueless. Anyway, that's kind of what I have. Baseball, Arizona under 8, 2 units. San Diego, 3 units. San Francisco, 2 units. Baltimore over 9, 3 units. Milwaukee under 9, 2 units. Minnesota over 6, 5 units. KC, 3 units. The Raiders, 5 units. Seattle over 7.5, 3 units. And LA over 8.5, 3 units. So that's baseball. Talked a little exhibition. Let's see what we can talk. So back to the Titanic. I love talking that one. So you basically have, the dollar being printed too much. And yet what do you hear from most of these guys is, oh, well, prices up, prices down. Oh, inflation's 3% because prices are going. Hey, Luke, how you doing? The derivatives were after us today. So basically you have the clear understanding of that inflation's printing the dollars, and yet everybody thinks its prices going up. And it isn't prices going up. And then you think, wow, Coke didn't raise their price from last year, so inflation's gone. No, because you can't. It's impossible to really measure inflation with 2%, 3%, 10%. And that's what they do in Venezuela. The prices have gone up. They're measuring prices, but that's not inflation. That is the effect of it. So you print the money's worthless. And then it takes more dollars to buy certain items, but not all, because some items they try to raise the price, they can't do it. We're all getting crushed with info. Inflation. Yeah, well, that's why you have to understand what it is, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, is say, this is what it is. So a lot of this shit you're getting hit with, you ignore because you go, no, that's not. I mean, that's what my biggest struggle is. I hear like Yankee Doodle Dandy here, and think I'm wrong about silver. Yeah, you are wrong. Bullion destroys critics and reveals what he doesn't know anything. Most people think inflation is prices, and it's 3%, it's 5%, and it's just not true because you're printing it to zero. Let me read you what I showed you about Egon yesterday. right, so I went into my friends. Oh, by the way, Luke, I thought I had the job, and I didn't get the official offer yet. This recruiter is an idiot. He wasn't my recruiter. My recruiter's on vacation, so he's somebody who works in the office. Said, good news. She wants you. She just wants you to meet the team. And he started talking salary. So I thought I had the job. So I did this interview today with her and the three guys on the team, two controllers and an analyst. So she pops in on Teams, and I go, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be part of your team." Thinking I had the job, so I'm saying thank you very much. I'm very excited, and but I don't have the job. I didn't get an official offer, so I had to meet the team, and I thought it was a meet and greet, but it wasn't. It was tell me about your resume, tell me about the jobs, and what's your Excel, and I was like, what the fuck kind of meet and greet is this? So this recruiter just fucked me up royal because here I am telling the boss thanks for hiring me. So I talked to my other recruiter from Harley. He says it's okay, it's okay. You were excited to join her. Maybe write her an email saying, "Look, I apologize. I was misinformed. I thought I had the job, but I hope I get it," or something like that, just so she knows why I said what I did. So I gave it to the recruiter with a thank you for the 4 people. So hopefully I get that. It was funny at the end of the interview. They're not smiling, and he goes, "Oh, it looks like you did bad." They weren't smiling, and I go, "They didn't smile the whole interview. They were like this." All 3 of these DTE people never really smile. One girl kind of smiled a little, she broke into a little smile. And so he's sitting there. The interview didn't go well because they're not smiling. I'm going, what are you talking about? I thought I did well on the interview, considering you blindsided me the whole fucking way, because it was a regular interview, not a meet and greet. And again, I thought I had the job. So now I'll find out tomorrow if I officially have the job, which I hope, but again, I don't know. So I'm still in limbo waiting, but I know the boss wants me or liked me. I don't know why these other people wouldn't like me. I was very friendly and they covered, okay, here's my resume. Boom, 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 boom. Here's what I do. Here's what I did at Mercedes and Harley. This is my skill set. I like problem solving. So it was only a half hour. I thought I did well, but you never know. Yeah, oh my is right. You've got to be kidding me. So let me get back to Egon, what Egon said. So I'll repeat this. I said it yesterday, but it's worth repeating. Silver moving fast to 50. It's at like 26 now. Silver is now starting the acceleration phase. $50 should not take long to reach, but the pause there will be temporary. Gold should reach around 3,400 in this move on the way to much higher levels. The concerning part is he's looking at a chart. But okay, biggest wealth transfer in history. Gold and silver now starting an acceleration phase up as stocks move into a secular downtrend. We won't see a 2008 gold correction. Instead, tech stocks will lose 90 to 100% versus gold. With trillions in U.S. Treasuries repricing in 2024, with over $700 billion in zombie bonds from S&P issuers doing the same, if Powell doesn't cut rates, then sovereign and corporate bond markets are staring down a loaded barrel. Central bankers continue to steadily devalue the currencies and inherit purchasing. Basically, they're inflating, inevitably raising the levels of mouse-click fiat money, the ultimate but largely invisible insult to our children and grandchildren. Global debt has already tripled this century, with the dollar and most currencies having lost 98.5% of their purchasing power since 1971. With global debt at around 350 trillion and global GDP of 100 trillion, the global debt to GDP is 350 So it's like us making 100,000 at our job, but we have 300,000 in debt. How do we pay that? Over 100% debt to GDP is unsustainable and cannot be financed over the long term. And 350% debt to GDP is bankruptcy. Both central banks and sovereign wealth will fund, and investors will turn to gold as the most stable part of our crumbling system. This will lead to a fundamental revaluation of gold. As more gold cannot be produced, higher prices can only satisfy increasing demand. Like your brother selling the Ohio State tickets because you can't get them anywhere, so now the price goes up. So I read that on Egon on Twitter. It looks like according to the fake paper price, at least we understand that now, the metals are taking a retest on the charts below, shooting higher. Well, I don't know if you can use charts, again, because it's all derivatives. And I don't even know if they're trying to keep the price down or they're just playing with the derivatives. So they can see, they'll do, like today, they did a derivative. So let's see where we're at today. All right, so we're at 23.89. So look at the derivative at what, about 8 o'clock? It's 24.15. Low, but we're trying to get back to the 24.50s. And look at that derivative. It goes straight down to 23. It goes down $20. What the fuck is that? Then it goes up, and then only to get shot from 24 down to 23.83. But again, not like yesterday. So they're $15, $20 ones, not that $70 one. And then it goes from 20, it goes up to 23.94, and now back to 23.89. So are they doing this big derivative? I think they're just doing it for the money. I don't think they even look at the price. They go, oh, it's 24.10, it's 24.15. We can get it down to 23.94 and we'll make money. Although I'm not sure what the amounts are that you need. And look at silver, 26.95. So let's look at silver downtown. And look at this massive derivative, 27.29 to 26.7. So it goes down 50 cents. Then it gets back up. And then, oh, look, at 8 o'clock, the exact same time the gold went down, the silver goes from 27.09 to goes down 40 more cents. Then, boom, it goes all the way back to 27.22. And then just lately, it went from 27.19 down to 27. So 26.94, this is the magic buying time. This is just a screaming buy at this price. Now, of course, the question is, when the fuck do we get out of this paper game and into physical game? And that's where bricks, that's why I just showed you that bricks video. As the recession happens, that's when gold pulls the trigger. Recession's happening. Notice gold, the stock price was up $300. Yeah. Well, what was that about? Yeah, that's because JP Morgan printed a bunch of money and threw it in the stock market. So keep your eye on that. Did you ever look at how Newmont did yesterday? Did it go down with the market or did it go up with the market? Because that's what you're going to get when the market goes. If Newmont will go with the market, that's what I'm trying to tell you, that you're right that the gold stock should go up, but you're wrong on the timing. Let it fall. If that's what it did yesterday, that's what it'll do when it falls, and then buy it. It all has to break before finding true value. Been waiting. Yeah, well, but we can see the end now. Bricks is the end. Bricks is the different variable. You never had bricks now, and you never had the tier 1 Basel 3. Now you have that. So that's the difference. And that's the variable. That's the X factor that's now. In other words, it's like now Mahomes is on Kansas City. So now we can't look at old Kansas City games. Now we look at them with Mahomes, and they win in Super Bowls. That's what bricks is Mahomes. Now we have a new variable in the mix to kill it. Basel 3, Tier 1. You got to have physical to do the thing, and people are taking delivery. And as soon as all that gold goes east, which is probably just about all gone, then they can't do it anymore. So that's Mahomes on Kansas City is bricks, right? So that's what's going to change from prior. So that just understand the variable part of it. The world won't stand for all this much longer. No, it won't. I thought Shanghai Gold Exchange would do it. It didn't. Then BRICS, and it hasn't yet. Well, BRICS hasn't started till October now. BRICS will announce the gold-backed currency in October. So you're jumping the gun, and we're only in August, so give it some time. I've lost 40K in mining stocks since May. Well, I told you to get the fuck out. Listen to me. Just get into the gold. How much gold's up? Gold, you didn't lose in gold. Let's see, what's gold for the last 6 months? Last 6 months of gold, you'd have made 18%, right? Even the last 30 days, you'd make 1.8%. For 1 year, you'd make 24%. For 5 years, 59%. So look at your 6 months. So instead of being in physical making 18%, you're losing money in stocks because nobody's interested in stocks. This is what I am trying to, obviously I'm not doing a good job, is to get you to focus on physical gold you can't lose. So kind of all the central banks are buying it because the dollar's going out and you're sticking in the dollar system. Stocks, even if it went up and you had value, maybe you don't even get it out because JP Morgan or whoever's running your stocks won't give it to you. They don't have to give it to you, like the money in your bank account. They don't have to give it to you. They can say, sorry, we're going to put a limit on it like they're doing in China. You can get $500 out per day and you can't get it out. And then the banks close. Now what are you going to do? That's why we're in gold, because the dollar, the banks, stocks are all going to collapse and they're not going to let you take it out. And just look at China. That's why I show you all these China videos. That's what they're doing in China. It's coming here. And there's no answer because they won't be CBDCs here. The banks aren't going to allow it. The banks will start collapsing because of the interest rates, and everybody's moving out of buildings. So they're defaulting on their houses, on their car payments, and the the corporates. So here I'm a bank, and you give me $10,000 to deposit in my bank, and I'm going to give you 3%. If I take your 10 grand and I go give it to somebody who wants a new car, and he's going to give me back 7%, except for what if he defaults? I don't have any money to give you. I'm waiting for this guy to give me 7% to give you your 3%. But if I don't get the 7% because of all the defaults on the houses and on the cars, and now on the commercial real estate, how do I pay you? I can't. So I either bail you in or say, sorry, I can't pay your interest rates, but you can't take your money out because I need your money to cover the money I'm not getting on my loans. Hence why everybody's fucked with money in the bank. You'll never get it out. However, it did go up 40,000 just prior, so back to even. Okay. You like taking risk, I see. You ever see the Sprott physical funds that you buy shares on the market, but you're buying physical in their vault? Who knows if you ever get paid? Those are ETFs, the Sprout. No, you don't ever get paid on an ETF. That's the biggest Ponzi scheme. This guy makes Madoff look like a Boy Scout. Sprout's a crook, and Rick Rude, who works for him, is a crook. But these are all ETFs, and no, there is no gold in it, and you cannot ask for your gold. I've heard many stories where somebody says, "Oh, I want to take possession of my gold." Sorry, I only have 1 ounce for 1,000 people, and I can't give it to all 1,000, so I'm keeping it. That's what the ETFs are. That's why I tell you strongly to get out of them, because you'll never get your gold. And if your intent is to be in the ETF to own gold, buy the fucking gold. Just go to the coin store and put it in your safe. Don't get into the ETF. Just like I'm saying, don't get into the gold miners, and don't get into IRAs that you can't hold your physical gold. Realize if somebody else is holding your physical gold, you don't own it, you'll never get it. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, Luke, I'll hold your physical gold in my ETF. Now gold's 10,000 an ounce. Sorry, Luke, I don't have it. They're not going to give it up. So that's the problem with it. No, it's bullshit. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's illegal, and stay away from it. But sprout is a bad word for me. Don't like it at all. So now we see silver at this incredibly low price of $26.95. You're already all in on silver. If I get this job tomorrow, I'll go buy another 20 ounces of it. But again, this is still price fixed. This is still paper derivative silver. The gold's breaking that, but the silver is still fucked. But all these India and Saudi Arabia are buying solar panels for this ESG with this Larry Fink idiot. And they're all they need silver for the solar panels and for the electric batteries in the car. And there's no substitute for silver. You have to use silver in the Tomahawk missiles and in the solar panels. Demand's huge, but think about it. Let's say you want to build solar panels. You need the price low. Who do you think is keeping the price low? It's for the solar panel guys. $26.95. Oh yeah, okay, I need 10 tons of it. Okay, $26.95. And there's really nothing in comex. There's no silver in comex. These guys now have to go to the mines. The mines are probably on the take from JP Morgan, so therefore they are on the take, which means they won't raise the price because JP Morgan's giving them $10 million to keep the price low. So what they should be getting on it, they keep the price low. Luke, I bought my 6-year-old son a Paul Skeens rookie card today for $15. Was it limited, and what was the condition? But good value. Back to silver gold. Do you still like the silver American Eagles? Absolutely. I buy the Eagles, but I buy the Buffaloes more because they're a little bit cheaper, and an ounce of silver is an ounce of silver. I'm not worried about, as long as it's a 1 ounce, and I know I go to my guy, so I know it's real. I don't have any problem with it. But even he's not getting the crisp ones anymore. He's getting more of little rusty ones. And I say, is this okay? You're going to take this as 1 ounce of silver? He says, yeah. And somehow I don't believe him. I'm like, yeah, you're saying it. I went to my guy, and I'm a little pissed. The owner was there, and so I asked him, how much is a tenth of an ounce? He had an eagle and a maple leaf. And I've been going there, 4 years, and it's always been cheaper than maple leaf. And he goes to me, oh, they're both $2.80 or whatever. I go, what? The maple leaf's always cheaper than the eagle. I might have bought the maple leaf if it was $2.50, $2.60. He said, no, they're $2.80. And I was like ready to say, let me see the price sheet, because that's bullshit. They're always cheaper, the maple leafs, than the eagles, because there's more demand for the American money. So I think he was playing me. So I kind of said to myself, well, fuck off, and I'll just buy the silver. So I bought 11 ounces of silver or something. Let's see. Lucas, do you think silver will pull a Bitcoin 20? Well, yeah, I mean, it'll go. You mean $25. It won't go to, well, it could go to 60,000. Again, what's going to happen is the dollar is going to go night. It'll be gone. So if the dollar is night, then right now my anticipation is silver to 2,000. because it'll go to 10-1 on gold, and then gold will be 20,000. It'll be 2,000. That's kind of how I'm getting it there. And again, I'm going by free market prices, not the idiot on Yankee Doodle Dandy who wants to play with paper prices. See, that's what my biggest concept is. The comex goes away. We go to free market. Then, to answer the second part of your question, it won't go to 60,000 because the dollar will go away and gold and silver won't be priced in dollars. It'll be its own price. So when you buy your house with 2 ounces of gold and you buy your Mercedes with 1 ounce of gold, your silver comes in and 10 ounces of silver is going to buy your gold. So that's what'll happen, and it won't be in dollars. But yes, I don't know if it'll get to 60,000. We gotta get gold up there first. I think gold does hit 50,000, 60,000. I think it hits 100,000 when it's its own man. Once they go physical and the dollar goes out and now it's not priced, then I think you're looking at, that's what I'm saying, 2 or 3 ounces of gold buys you a house, because the $400,000 house is in dollars that are heavily inflated. So all of a sudden, the whole value. So when the Zimbabwe had their dollar, and it was like 30,000 to 1, right? So $1 bought you 30,000 Zimbabwe dollars. As soon as they came out with the gold bag zig, $1 bought you 13. So what happened to the price? Well, it went from 30,000 to 13. So that's my point. The house that's valued at 500,000 in dollars that are heavily inflated now get repriced in gold. And that's why 2 ounces of gold will buy it for you, because then it'll be worth $50,000. Because the 500, see, that's the beauty of it. The 500,000 is priced in this shit, which is 98.5% gone. Right? That's the key to it. So that's really what your concentration should be focused on. This is gone. This is 98.5% gone. This dollar's worth a penny. $100 is worth $1.50. That's what you need to so you got to get the fuck out before it depreciates. When I went to the barbecue place for dinner on Saturday night, instead of Chinese, it was a change of pace. And it was actually the same price. Chinese about $18 for my general chow and an egg roll. And I went to the barbecue and I got barbecue chicken and it was $15. So I'm thinking, what do I need? So I told them, you got to get out of the dollar because it's losing its value, and put all your money into gold each night. He won't do it because I have no idea. I don't know if he believes me, or I think he gets confused hearing other alternatives. So as other people say, oh no, the dollar won't go out, he doesn't know me that well. So he's thinking, oh, well, the dollar won't go out. So what's he talking about? Oh, the debt's fine. We can just keep the debt. We can just keep printing money to pay the debt. He doesn't understand. I got a master's in this fucking thing. So yes. And that's the point. So that's what you're trying to do. So that's the idea, is we really understand it. And it'd be the same people on the Titanic. Oh, the boat can't sink. I mean, how many times did you hear that in a movie? The boat can't sink. This is unsinkable. And sure as shit, it sunk. So the barbecue guy would still be on the boat, and me and you would be off the boat, because we'd be going, yeah, the boat's going to sink because all the water is flowing in. And that's really what it is. So that's really what you're looking at. We know the real truth. Most people don't. Most people are sitting in their stocks. I wish I would have saw that guy at the gym today after the stocks dropped $1,000, because he's sitting there going, oh, I'm in my pension and my stocks and I'll be fine. And I'm thinking, now how are you feeling? You just lost 1,000. You just lost 1,000 points on stocks, and I didn't lose anything in gold. So people don't understand. Gold's just going up. Central banks are buying it. What do you think? They're idiots? Of course they know what they're doing. Of course we know what we're doing. I wouldn't tell you to do it if I didn't know and I wasn't 100% positive. But that's what I learned. That's 21,000% or 210 times. That'd be the same as 5,200 an ounce silver. Well, Bitcoin was unique. It's mostly, I guess, derivative or paper. There is no coin. And a lot of people put a lot of money into it, which elevated it. And this is a physical price. Bitcoin's a real market price, not a derivative price like silver and gold. So when Bitcoin ran, it ran. I heard it was down to like 50 something yesterday. Anyway, what you'll see with silver is what we're waiting for is free market. No more paper derivative bullshit. And once we get to that, you'll see gold easily at 25, 30,000 and silver up to about 1,000, 1,500. And then as people get more desperate, the boat's sinking. I need to get into gold and silver. What do you mean my euro's gone to nothing? What do you mean my British pound's worthless and my Swiss franc and my yen is worthless? I showed that the yen, they have a $10,000 yen, a $5,000 yen, and a 1,000. What the fuck is that? Those are heavily inflated yens. So you've seen Sri Lanka and Greece and Pakistan and Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Argentina. Here comes Japan. Here comes India. They are heavily inflated. They are fucked. Even Hungary is fucked. So this is the problem. They're fucked. And the only way out's gold. But the MMTs want to tell you just keep printing. That's okay. Just keep printing. It's all right. You keep printing, nothing can happen. And they don't realize that the value goes to zero when you keep printing because nobody wants it. It's a demand thing. Well, fuck, I'd rather have gold than the US dollar. All the central banks are doing it. And there goes the value of the dollar if nobody wants it. So as this is my little baby. If nobody wants this, it goes to zero. But if somebody wants it, it has a value. So if I can get $100 for it, that's the value. But if I put it out on auction and nobody wants to bid, and I get a zero, then it's worth zero. And that's what this is. We run a treasury bill. Nobody wants it. We buy our own treasuries. What the fuck is that? As they say, that's a banana republic. When you're so poor that you buy your own stuff. And that's what's happening. So, people got to understand that is, you're fucked. Why isn't nobody want our dollar? Because you printed it and then you're going to sanction people and you're going to inflate it and you'll never pay it back. Nobody wants it. But once China's got $6 trillion in treasuries. I show you all the problems that they're going on. The banks, the Evergrande, the people, they won't do their 401, they won't do their Social Security. Banks won't give you the money. So as everything's happening, you're basically fucked. And you have all this gold. Now you're going, okay. So they're waiting, I guess, for the US recession when they roll out the gold, and it's hitting now. It's starting to hit, but they probably silenced it and said, oh, no, inflation's fine. It's 2%. No, don't worry about reality. Guys, you're printing money and all the petrodollar stuff's now coming back because China and India and Russia, what's happening is Russia's selling all their oil to India, and India is then selling it to Europe because Russia can't. So Russia to India, India to Europe, and everybody's happy. And there goes your sanction to Russia called BRICS is fucking that up. So that's what you got to understand. It's at the end of the day, everybody who prints the dollar watches it go to zero because it's not backed by anything. And the problem is the idiots in charge think they'll just keep printing it. They'll print more and more, and that will make it that's not going to help the value of it. Right? That's like the Bobby card. Well, it's like Mahomes. Well, we'll just keep printing it. But wait, this has value because it's 50 count. But if you there's another card in the set that doesn't have the gold. That's probably $1 million count. And it's probably worth $5, $2. Why? Because you've printed it. You've printed more supply than demand. So when your brother does the football tickets, the demand's more than the supply. So many people want to go to Ohio State, Michigan, or Ohio State, Oregon, and they only made 60,000 tickets, right? That's it. That's all that's printed. He buys them. And now we got 90,000 people that want it, and then he starts putting them on auction. Okay, I want to go to the game. I'll pay you 5,000 for it. And he paid 300, he gets 5,000. And because there's more demand than supply, that's what Rolex is. That's what Mickey Mantle cards are, and Mahomes and Montana. There's more demand. There's more supply than demand. But in dollars, there's more supply than demand. So the supply is like 150 trillion. And the demand for dollars going down because all these countries are going to gold and getting out and going to BRICS and getting out of the dollar. China and India are trading. Russia and India are trading. Russia and China are trading. They're not using the dollar. And it's trillions of dollars that they're trading. So you can say, well, look at everything, but the petrodollar is gone. People are trading in other than the dollar. And if I'm Saudi Arabia, do I really want dollars? We don't want dollars here, right? What do? Dump our dollars to buy gold and silver. So you think Saudi Arabia wants dollars? They don't want dollars. Luke, when taking my kid to the card store, we found a Bobby Bo Pirates card for $1. That's probably his rookie card. Well, I have the Bobby Bo. Here's Bobby Bo's rookie card. This one, this is his rookie card on the Pirates. Pretty good condition, probably a 10, but it's not worth anything because there's no demand for it. Only from Bobby and his family. But yeah, that's his rookie that I had. But when I go through it and there's no value, what do I do with it? So, and I had the whole set. So when we got Bobby, now here's why we think it's Bobby, because he actually reacts to it. If it wasn't Bobby, why would he react to the Bobby Bo card? So yeah, is he a Bobby Bo fan? Well, when we meet Bobby Bo, we can have him autograph the card for your son at the Capitol Grill. So keep in mind, the dollar is worthless. Just like when the Titanic hit the iceberg, it was sunk, but it hadn't actually sunk yet, right? It took time for the water to come in and finally sink it. And that's what I keep saying with the dollar. It's worthless, even though it's 98.5% gone, it's worthless. It's just a matter of time till it goes down. And there's nothing they can do to save it unless they go to a gold-backed currency. And then our gold will go up either way. So their only hope is gold, but we have gold. That's why we have it. There's no other way you can save anything but with gold. Gold saves you, and therefore it's saving us, right? We sleep fine at night because we got gold and silver, and we know nothing can happen to it, right? So that's where we're at. That would be sweet. I'm still 50-50. What, gold and silver, or 50-50 what? With the lack of demand for the US dollar globally, what will happen to inflation in the US? Well, it'll go through the roof. 50-50, wondering if it's Bobby. Yeah, I'm more like 80-20, but yeah. Like I say, I just can't imagine that somebody would be Bobby Bo. I could see LeBron, or I could see, Magic Johnson, or, Larry Bird. Yeah, that's probably not them, but I can't see Bobby Bo. Like, who's gonna be Bobby Bo? And he's back on, and we know he likes LSU, so he's consistent. I think it is. With the lack of demand, what will happen to inflation? So remember, inflation's printing the money. You printed $150 trillion, 130 of it for the petrodollar, which is now starting to come back because people are buying oil without the dollar. So now it comes back. BRICS is gold backed currency. All of BRICS will be dumping the dollar and going to the BRICS gold backed currency. So as they dump the T-bills, so let's say China has $6 trillion in T-bills. Let's say they dump 3 trillion. That's $3 trillion coming back to the US, because what do? They sell the treasury. So they say, here's your money back, pay me for the bonds. And then they go buy gold with it. So the dollars come back. So yeah, there'll be even more inflation than there already is. But these chuckleheads won't say there's inflation, just like they're not calling it a recession. It's been a recession for 2 years. So yes, the inflation will go through the roof because you've printed too much dollars and there's nothing backing the dollar. This is the whole key of finance, economics, is the reason you have gold backing your dollar is to keep it limited. As we can see, the Rolexes and the Mahomes 50 count, I mean, it's limited. They don't make a lot of them, so they hold their value. That's why Rolexes are so expensive. They're in demand and they're very limited and they take a year to make and they're not making a lot. So that's why the Rolex is good. And so you understand that and you go from there. So that's the whole point of it. You're basically this is the problem with the petrodollar. You've printed all these dollars out there, and now they're coming home because people don't want them. They don't want to be sanctioned. They want gold instead. They're all buying gold. Why do you think they're all buying gold? Because they don't want to hold dollars. They want to hold gold. All the dollars come back. You've printed too many, it's worthless, and then the prices go to the moon. Just like Venezuela. I mean, what do you think? Like Germany in 1923, what caused it? You printed too much of it. Nobody wanted it, and then it was wallpaper. And see, it's who wants the dollar, and besides what, Canada and the UK, nobody wants it. And they're collapsing too. So when Canada and the UK collapse, who's going to buy the dollar? And when we collapse, we better buy BRICS. Like I said, Texas wants to join BRICS because they know they want the gold back currency, because that's the right. So that's what we have in our corner is the gold back BRICS currency that should be coming out in October, according to Mark McGuire. And then that's it. Then it breaks off the comex is done, and they're going to want a much higher gold price. And what's comex going to be dicking around with derivatives? And the gold price will be 10 times more. So this is the problem Yankee Doodle Dandy doesn't get. He doesn't understand comex and BRICS, and he thinks this is the way it is, and he doesn't understand. So he'd be betting against Kansas City, but not realizing, oh, Mahomes is on the team now. That's the problem. You have to adjust to the new variables, and that's not what they do. They just see what's happening. Oh, in 2008, gold did this. Well, it ain't the same value. That was paper. This is going to be physical. Printing too much again is one thing, but demand shrinking globally will bring those dollars back home, which is very inflationary. Then there's more dollars with less demand. That's really high inflation. So you're assuming demand, but they're printing more than the demand is. There's more dollars exported. There's more dollars exported than there are here. Yeah, by a lot. There was 130 trillion petrodollars because all the countries had to use it to buy the oil from Saudi Arabia, and $21 trillion here. In either case, it's way too many dollars printed. And I think there's some other dollars printed that are fucked. So this is the problem. You've already printed the dollars. There's 150 trillion out there. Who owns them? If they're coming back from Saudi Arabia or not, and we have our 21 trillion, that's too many dollars. So as they come back, that you've blown up the system. And it's really not the demand shrinking. The dollars will come home, but it doesn't matter. There is no demand for the dollar, right? But you've printed that much. So it's like Bobby's card, right? He's printed a ton of them and there's no demand for it. So it's worth $1. That's the point. This is worth $1 because you printed so much and there is no demand. This has a value because you only printed 50 and the demand's more than 50. So therefore this gets a price. So the higher the demand, if the demand beats supply, and that's what Egon's saying. He's saying the demand for gold far outweighs the supply for gold, and therefore the prices have to go up because the demand is more than the supply. And the only way to get more gold is to raise the prices and get people to trade it. So right now, all the gold's gone, let's say, and here's your price. But now more people want it. Well, how do they get it? The price has to go up because you can't get any more out of the ground. So if you can't get any more out of the ground, you've got to get it out of the price. And price has to go up. I mean, that's your only option because like your tickets, right? You want Ohio State, Oregon? Well, okay, the price, you bought them for 300, but now, oh, wait, I can get $5,000 for them. Yep, I'll sell them. So the price goes up for people to move. So the way to move the gold is the price goes up. You want to give me 10 grand for my gold? I'll give you a few ounces. Absolutely. But not at 2,400, 2,500. So that's basically the problem. And how much is that Mahove card worth? I don't know. I think it's got to be graded. And I haven't really found a graded one. But if this comes back at 10, it's probably $1,000 or so. Again, I bought it for $50 at a Foot Locker, which I didn't even know they sold cards. I was just looking, I think I was looking for a bathing suit or some Skechers shoes or something, and they had some cards there. And when I saw this for $50, I looked at the condition. I said, I know it's worth a lot more than 50. So that's why I bought it. The ticket flipping game is tough right now. Well, because you got to have buyers, right? So as I said, if demand is over supply, the price goes up. But now here's the other part of the equation. If demand isn't, then you can't sell. Then you can only sell what you got and nobody has the money to buy it. And that is your inflation. As prices go up because the dollar's worthless, he has 60,000 tickets or whatever he gets. And is there all these buyers for these tickets? And the answer is no. I mean, I would imagine selling golf clubs have to be really hard. What are they, 500, 600 a set or what they used to be? And who's got that money to buy golf clubs? I need to feed my family and pay my rent. I don't have money for golf clubs. That's the problem. It's the needs and the wants. Well, everybody needs food and electricity but I don't need to go to a football game. I can watch it on TV. So I think that's what you're going to start seeing happening. And even all these quarterbacks making 40, 50 million, wait till the inflation hits them and they find out they're not making anything. Yeah, you're making 50 million a year. Oops. Guess again, you're not making it. It's monopoly money. Now, are they smart enough to ask for 50 million in gold? Bobby actually did that. I told him, and he actually says he contacted the Mets about getting paid in gold, and they laughed at him. So maybe it is Bobby because he did talk about it. That's really the problem. All these players signing these huge contracts, and the owners are laughing because it's all monopoly money. That's what they got to realize. We understand that it's monopoly money. Most people don't understand that. Ticketmaster prices are also too high. Golf clubs more like 2,000. Some drivers are 500. Well, that's but I don't golf anymore because I'm between my feet and my back. It's just too hard for me to play 18 holes. I would like to get a wedge on a, replay, get an old wedge or something. And I got some golf balls and just chip a little bit at a putting green. That I like to do. That's pretty refreshing. But uh, it's a little bit tough on my back to play like 18 holes, maybe even 9 holes. I don't know. But I know my back feels better now. But I know if I go and play 9 holes, uh, I'm going to be really sore for a week. So I just don't. I played it. I shot 76, 77. I was there. But now it's time to get into gold and not worry about golf. But yeah, I could go. There's a Carl's Golf Land here, and they always sold golf clubs. Maybe we can do that. Skiing and golf are a luxury. Absolutely. You don't need them, but they're fun. My mom used to play golf. She was terrible at it. She'd probably shoot 65 for 9 holes, but she liked the exercise. And in her mind, it was well, I can go walking or I can golf, and I'm gonna shoot, a 90 for 9 holes, and I'm gonna hit the ball on the tee for 40 yards, and she doesn't know how to chip, and she just keeps, a par four, and 350 yards would take her probably 8 shots to get on the green. And I'm booming it out there, but she didn't care. It was to her exercise. She lived the 90s, so there must be something to it. But Vale Aspen get 270 a day for a lift ticket. Well, we'll see how long that goes. It's insane. They push everyone to buying the season pass for 700. Well, of course, because unless you live there, how often are you going to go to Vale and Aspen? I mean, so well, it's like Disneyland, right, or Disney World. My friend lives in Orlando, so he's got the season pass for a couple $100, but he goes 10 times, and that's the thing is that's what they try to it's cheaper to get the season pass there, but again, who wants to get it? I mean, if you just go once for a vacation, you're not going to get it. But he lives in Orlando, so that's what he should do. But yeah, I mean, I'm reverse. I actually give you a great break on my season for the whole year. So in other words, it's let's say it's $100 a week for my football, pro and college, and the locks. But if you buy the year, it's only 750. That's let's call it 8 weeks. There's 20 weeks in pros and there's 15 weeks in college. So if you paid $100 a week, you'd be paying me much more. So I give you the break the other way. So yeah, I'm pushing for the year too. And some people take advantage of it. Some people want to pay the week, and that's why I'm doing the class, because too many people, I would give all the games away, and they're going, fuck, I don't need to pay. I'll just listen to them and they'll give me the games. Not this year. No. Beers on site at these ski areas are $18 each and 16 ounce. Best deal is to go to Canada to ski. Yeah, Montreal. When I was young, I didn't ski, but they had a lot of skiing in Montreal. Well, if you really want skiing, go to Switzerland. I took Carmen to Switzerland. That was interesting. I said, I'm not skiing because if I break my leg and I'm in Switzerland, I'm fucked. So she skied a little, but I had no desire to ski. I was safe on the ground, but I didn't. What if you get injured in Switzerland, right? You're really fucked. So we were skiing in the Swiss Alps. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, go to Norway or somewhere, Copenhagen. I don't know. Norway, Denmark. I don't know what's the difference. I don't know what Copenhagen and Amsterdam are. One's the Netherlands and Norway, and so anyway, I don't think I'm traveling. Well, I thought I was going to get the job, so I was ready to book the flight and then go, and I got to wait again to see if I get the job. I can't. This recruiter is like so stupid. I mean, I was under the impression I got the job and they're just negotiating. We're talking about background check and drug test, and I don't have it, but I'm meeting the team, so I assumed I have it, and I still assume I have it, but we'll see. The EU and US are all but the same with currency. I guess it's all the G7. Well, I don't know why the euro is like the dollar is worth 95 cents for euro. So in other words, the euro is more expensive than the dollar. So when I give Jenna money, the Ukraine dollar, $1 buys me 40. So in euro, $1 buys me 95. So I don't know why it doesn't make sense why the euro is worth more than a dollar, or the British pound really makes 0 cents when they're broke. Why would the British pound be worth more than a dollar? So that's all price fixed, all obviously. But that's what we have. We have basically the whole financial thing's crooked, and that's why we buy gold. And that's the best reason, because they can't fuck with it. Everything else is fucked. The banks are fucked. The Wall Street, the bonds, the FX rates, they're all fucked. If you think you can make money at that, you're out of your mind, because it's price fixed. Yeah, well, it's all the West, right? The West controls it. That's why BRICS doesn't wants to get out of the SWIFT system and make their own parliament and their own gold-backed system on their thing. That's why they're doing it, because Putin and Xi are sick of this bullshit from the dollar. And why is the U.S. pricing gold when they don't have any? And that's what they're at. So they got all this gold. So that's Xi's plan. He knows gold's the savior. And I guess he's waiting for the recession to hit America. Then he goes out and pulls out the gold and says, okay, buddies, we're going to gold back. So that's really, we're in August, and by October, it'll be all, well, that's when their meeting is. So it'll be there. Crooked. Yep. That's the problem with government. It's all crooked the way it works now. That's why I don't know how you have government at all, because we're supposed to elect them and they're supposed to work for us, but it got turned around where they work for the banks now. The banks give them, the lobbyists give them the money, and they work for them. What would you want, Mr. JP Morgan? Yeah, we want this, that, and the other. Oh, okay. Not a problem. Well, look at this whole shooting at Trump. What was that? She's sitting there clearly on the take going, yeah, I guess the Secret Service is so fucking stupid that we let a guy shoot at Trump 8 times. Really? What are you guys, a bunch of idiots? Like 5th graders could have seen that and protected them. People in the stands who are not trained Secret Service agent saw the shooter on the roof. But you're telling me the Secret Service, who are trained to look for that, didn't see it or didn't react or didn't do anything? Are you kidding me? That was that's George Soros written all over it. I guess most would say not worthless, but the least dirty shirt in the basket. It is, but it's worthless because they're all worthless. So right now, it's the least dirty, losing 98.5% of its value. And they're the winner, because all the others must have lost 99% of its value. So I know what you're saying. It's the cleanest shirt and the dirty hamper, but it's gone. I mean, don't even try to think it's not, it has a value. Or you can go to the grocery store or go anywhere, because people don't know and they just take it. But even the guys at the gold store don't really understand it. They don't. I keep saying to them, why are you selling me a physical gold at paper gold prices? They don't know. I got to pay rent. Okay, well, you keep paying rent. I'm gonna take all your gold at these cheap prices and just hold on. And eventually it'll blow up. Like Rome. How did Rome go out, right? They took the gold out of their money and the silver out of their money. But how did it end? I mean, okay, they did that. It still lasted a few hundred years until it didn't last anymore. Until what happened was the Germanians, the one they kept fighting in the movie, got all the gold, or the Ottomans. I think it was the Ottomans. And they ended up with all the gold. They invaded because they had these soldiers, and the Roman soldiers didn't care because they weren't getting paid. I ain't going to war if I ain't getting paid. And the Ottomans had the gold, and they won. And it's as clear as that. So now what do you have? You have the Russians and Chinese and Indians and Saudis, South Africans. They got the gold. We don't have the gold. How are we going to have an army? How are you going to pay them? You're going to pay them in wallpaper money? I mean, that's not going to work. Even Hitler, when he started World War II, had no money. In the mid-1930s, they told him he's broke. And then he started invading to steal the gold. That's what he did. But he was broke. But being a dictator, he could force you. I got a job for you. You get to wear this uniform and walk goose-stepped around the place. It's funny, Jenna's in Berlin now, and I go, I have no desire to, what am I going to see there? A bunch of goose-steppers? I'm going to see what, Hitler's house? I mean, what do you want to see in Berlin? Oh my God. I said, well, we can go somewhere else. So I think I'm going to meet her in October, November now. She says she has something to do in September. And she's going to Prague for 2 days and coming back to Berlin and leaving Friday, I guess. Okay. So I won't meet her. So I'm going to ask you, Luke, a Daria question. And give me your answer. So I see Daria on WhatsApp. She's online, but she's not responding to me. Is she ignoring me, too busy, or she doesn't have access to her phone? It's controlled. Now, at first, I got a text from some girl I had no interest in. I just ignored her. And then the light went on going, well, is Daria doing that? But I don't think she is. That's where I get puzzled. So if you get a text and it's somebody you don't want to talk to, you ignore. But if it's like your kid, but you don't have time, do you text them later? And so that's where I've been going with Daria is, why don't you talk to me for 4 days? I can see you online and I don't know. So I'm like, are you ignoring me or are you just too busy? And but Jenna, every day I text her, she responds. She's never too busy to talk. So that's my Daria $1 million question. So are you ignoring me or are you too busy? Or when rent's due, then you're not too busy. So that's my stoic question of the day. Are you? Because I did that. I ignored the girl, and then the light went on. Going, well, is Daria doing that? So I'm not sure. I don't think she is. I think she's just busy, but it does fuck with my mind sometimes. Dropper, it's kind of weird relationship to begin with. I wouldn't waste my time and give her anything. Yeah, I hear you. It's not a weird relationship. It's just she's a Russian girl, and the problem was we couldn't meet because of the war. So I was ready to go there, and the war breaks out, and I can't go to Russia. She can't get out. That's been the problem. If it was just if there was no war, I would have met her 2 years ago. That's the problem. Now I can meet her, and then it's sort of like Jenna did that to me in Barcelona. The son was watching the dog, and then the son had to go to Kiev for work, and nobody could watch the dog, so she had to go home for somebody to watch the dog. And that's what's happening with Daria. She can't leave her daughter alone because she's too young, and so we need to find a babysitter for the daughter. So initially, I was going to go to Russia and meet her, and then now she wants to meet me in Serbia. Like, I want to go on a vacation with you. but I got to find a babysitter for the daughter. And what's really weird is the daughter had a birthday party at like a amusement park and didn't want Daria to go with. She says, I'm not invited to my daughter's birthday. So something's going on between her and the daughter. But anyway, so she wants to meet me in Serbia, but we got to find a babysitter for the daughter. That's where we're at now, and it's frustrating as hell. I agree, and it mostly is. She's very loving to me back, but we got to meet, and then it'll be a different story. She's been milking and will reach again when she needs more support. Yeah, and I get that, and I don't mind it. It's not a lot, but it just I don't think it's that. I don't think she's trying to scam me. It's $100 here and there. Russian girls scamming you. They want like a house. Give me 10 grand. Give me a car. $100 is not a scam. But we'll see. You know, my biggest question is: am I the only guy that you're asking for money? Because some of these girls, that's what they do. They get 20 guys to give them $100. Or yeah, I'm doing it right. But again, well, you're right. But the war breaks out, so now you're in limbo. You're not talking to me. You know, we're not meeting because of the war. She's still afraid for me to go there. She says, I don't know how it is for Americans in Russia. And I go, oh, no, I'm not really worried about it. But we'll see. Anyway, nothing I can do. I mean, I don't mind, but that's why I'd like to get this fucking job, and then it won't be an issue at all. But I trust her. That's the problem. My sixth sense says, no, she's real. But we'll see. Then I get pictures of her mom's in town with her daughter, and she sends me a picture. Things that scammers don't normally do. They don't even, like some of these girls, they don't even show you a picture of themselves. They won't Skype you. You don't even know it's them. So I just ignore them. But Daria, I know what she looks like, and she sends me pictures and videos of herself. So I'm sure it's her. So that's kind of it. But anyway, yeah, this is, I don't know. I'm like, are you ignoring me? Or are you know, because like she was on today, didn't say hi. Are you ignoring me? Or you're just so busy you don't have 5 minutes to say hi? Or are they taking your phone and you don't have access to your phone? Which I don't think that's it. I don't think the mafia is that bad there. Anyway. So, again, gold's the best thing to have because they can't print it. And it can never be inflated, and therefore it'll never lose its value. And they can try with the derivatives, but the gold derivatives are stopping. It's the silver derivatives that are still going, and they're trying to keep that price down, because then if that really started to go, people would probably jump into gold and dump their dollars. I don't know why. I mean, nobody's doing that, but let's keep an eye on the stock market, and that's price fixed. Get out of the banks because you'll never get your money out. They're going to start saying, well, you can only get $500 a day like China did. I showed you that video. $500 a day. So what are you going to do with 200 grand in the bank, getting $500 a day out? Yeah, you know, in 20 years, I'll get my money out. So I'm warning you that now. Put it in your fucking home and you're safe. See, that's the thing. People think my money's safe in the bank. And, well, nobody's going to steal it. It's in the bank, but the bank will steal it, right? So you're trusting the bank with your money is the biggest, that's the problem. You don't want to trust the bank with your money. You need, put it in your safe in your house. You don't have to trust anybody. Just put it there. Nobody knows you have it. Well, they could steal it. Well, yeah, well, they could steal your car. They could steal your jewelry, but you don't worry about that. So, you know, I don't know. So that's my point. keeping money in your house, I think is safer than in the bank. At least you have it. And then if you need to buy gold with it, you got it to go buy gold. And that's why I'm saying go buy the gold now while it's cheap and you can still get it. Because the only reason there's gold in the stores is because people are selling it at these ridiculously low prices. So you go and you buy it and you go, thank you. That's why there's gold in the store where I go. He's got gold because people are selling it to him and he knows I'm going to buy it. So he buys it at spot and he sells it 100 over. So he makes $100. He's happy. I keep laughing at him going, well, you're selling me $20,000 gold for $2,000. Thank you. But very few think like me do, like me. Then gold goes nuts and the system breaks. Well, the system will break if they don't back the currency with gold. So the system is set as a medium of exchange. The only reason this is fucked up is because you keep printing this stuff. But the system works. This is a medium of exchange. You go to work, they pay you this. You take the money, you go to the grocery store, and you use it. Well, if it's gold back, it would work fine. It's not the system. You fucked up the medium of exchange. You fucked this up. That's the problem. So if you wouldn't fuck up the medium of exchange, the system works fine. And that's the whole point of Adam Smith. It's get a medium of exchange. They used to use cows, they use tulips, and then they come up with dollars, which is fine, but don't fucking inflate them. That's not the job of the Federal Reserve to print the money to 150 trillion. That's not your job. What are you, insane? Nobody knows. They just do MMT. We can print as much as we want. Okay, pay off the debt with your $36 trillion and see how much the dollar's worth then. That's why they don't do it, because it would be zero, and they know it. So will the debt be paid off? Probably not. We'll probably default. We're in bankruptcy. So where do you go from there? That's why you're in gold and silver, because it can't go bankrupt. It just won't get priced in dollars is really what you're going to change. It'll be priced. Gold will have its own value. There won't be barter, because you can't barter because you don't know what the thing is priced. So if I go to ribs, I guess let's look at it this. So I go to my rib place. It's $35 for a slab. I give him an ounce of silver. He takes it. Is that barter or not? To me, barter is if I take this to pay for the ribs and he takes it. This is not money. This would be barter. Or my Canadian club. If I took this and said, give me a slab of ribs, he sees this is worth $100. It's trade. But paying for ribs with an ounce of silver is not barter. But then if we need to use silver, if the dollar's no good, he's not charging $35 for it because he doesn't have a base. He doesn't have a dollar that has a value. So the ribs are not 30. And the ironic part is the ribs are $35 for a slab. Now you come out with a gold backed currency. You know how much the ribs will cost you? $2. $2 backed by gold, or 35 of the bullshit dollars. And that's where we're headed. Once we get the gold backed currency, all the prices drop because they're repriced in gold. And I don't even know if it'd be $2 for the slab of ribs. It might be 89 cents. That's the whole key of gold. It revalues things in gold. Like I was talking about Zimbabwe yesterday. The Zimbabwe dollar to the U.S. was 35,000. $1 bought you 35,000 Zimbabwe. But when it turned to a gold-backed currency, the ZIG was $13. And I would have traded $1 for 13 all day long in ZIG gold-backed currency. Are you kidding? I can't find out what's happening there. I'm sure they're doing very well with it, because if it wasn't, they'd tell us. So when you get a chance, if you get a chance to buy BRICS gold-backed currency, I highly recommend it. And get the fuck. If you do have to sell your gold, you really don't want this. So if you're going to sell an ounce of gold for $2,500, you really don't want this, because this is worthless. So you want to be on the other side. You want to be using the useless dollar to buy the gold and the silver. And it's really just the inflation. You're printing it to death. It's not worth anything because nobody wants it because you printed too much of it. So, I mean, if you ever see a sale at the grocery store and there's a million oranges and they're 39 cents, it's because there's a million of them. They need to lower the price to sell them. That's what's going on in there. But we want free market gold and silver, not communistic government/bank price fixing it, which is what we kind of have that. They're trying to set the price, but then here, good old China and Russia are buying it at these low prices, forcing the price up. I guess I get how the derivatives work. I'm not quite sure. Like if China wants to buy it, where's that shown on the map there? But it does raise the price because they are taking delivery of the derivative and watching it go up. So there should be a up derivative tomorrow because it's 23.80 or 23.90, and they're gonna do a derivative and make it go to 24.50, so they can make another billions of dollars, making the call option go up, and they make more money. So they sell it at 2,300. No, they buy it at 23.90 and they sell it at 24.50. Then they sell it at 24.50 and buy it at 23.90. I mean, it's a beautiful game they're playing. It's highly illegal, but nobody cares because the rule makers are in on it. So nobody cares. Let's see. Then gold goes nuts and the system breaks. Once the physical is non-attainable, it goes nuts, even with their fake paper price. Well, that's why we're waiting for bricks, and that's what Egon's saying. Once you can't get it, the only way to get it is with the higher price. Exactly. If the bond market then blows, then the Fed buys. Then Fed buys it. What are they going to use? Because the dollar's worthless. They're not going to be able to sell their bonds. Yo-yo game versus shorting and buying. Yeah, it's that's the Ponzi scheme, right? I do a put derivative. I sell it first, and I buy it low. When it goes low, I buy it and then sell it high. It's totally illegal. And what the fuck are we doing with it in gold and silver? Actually, all comex, which includes oil, coffee, pork bellies. It's all the same. It's all bullshit derivative. So we need a new system. We got to get rid of this system, but again, the banks control everything. They control the government, so they control the system. That's what we're fighting. And since the U.S. has no gold, they want the gold price to go. They don't want the gold price to go up because we don't have any. Right? So if I have Canadian Club 12 here and you don't, I want the price to go up. You don't because you don't own it. I do because I do own it. Well, that's how it is with gold. China and Russia want the price to 20,000 and we want the price at 2,500. And that's the problem. So right now we're fighting, but that's when the recession hits and the gold-backed currency hits in October, and then boom. And we have the election. We'll keep gold a little bit tame until November and then look out, especially if Trump wins. Boom. George Soros will eat them up. And you got guys like George Soros running everything. This is the other problem. How is that guy still alive? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Hungary won't let him in the country. That's how bad it is. They won't even let him in. They keep him. If he tried to go into the country, they'd put him in jail. And he's Hungarian. That's how bad a guy he is. Terrible man. A Nazi who sold all his own people. Unbelievable. So again, they'll tell you inflation's price increases and prices. It's not. It's the dollar being devalued down. You've printed the money. It's worthless. Because it's worthless, you got to charge more dollars because they're not worth anything. So where you might have taken $2 for something, you now need $5 for it because the dollar isn't worth anything. So they know the dollar's not worth anything. That's why they're raising it. So to measure in prices is really not, you don't know why all the price increases, if they can take or not. But you do know you printed the money and it's worthless. And that's why inflation never goes down, and it's much, much higher than 20%. But how do you measure the dollar? So keep that in mind. It can't be fixed. It can't go down because you've already printed it. You printed $150 trillion. How are you gonna cut inflation? You're gonna get it all back and burn it? I mean, that would be the only way you could do it, is kill the supply. So everything's supply and demand. So it's like the tickets. I got 10,000 tickets for the Ohio State game, and if I got 20,000 people who want to buy them, I'm going to make a fortune. And if I got 2,000 people that are going to buy them, I'm going to get fucked because I got 10,000 tickets in the game. That's why it's supply and demand. You want something like Rolexes and Mano cards, very limited, high demand, will give you a high price. And that's what we have in gold. Highly limited, high demand, and low price where it should be a high price. So it's all you can eat with gold. Silver should be right there, but they're really price fixing it. So be careful with silver now. You're going to wait a little bit longer. But as the gold price creeps up, gets to $5,000, gets to $10,000, you're not going to be able to afford it. So you're going to run to silver because silver is money. And that'll be the key. You'll go, oh, fuck, I can get silver at $26. If gold's 2,500, silver's 250. It's 10 to 1 roughly. So if that's where my gold is, that's where my silver's got to be. Oh, no, we're going to keep the derivatives going on silver. So really it's $28. Okay, you're living in fantasy world. So that's what you try to do is, the price isn't right. That's why when I go to the coin store and I dance my way out, I know I got something worth 10 times the value that they sold it to me. And it's as much as I can eat. All I can eat is what I buy. So that's why I'm hoping for this job. And then I start making money, and then I go and it all goes into gold. It's funny. I told the recruiter, I says, I don't want a 401k. Just pay me. I'll take care of my own retirement with gold. That's the beauty of it. People think they're going to retire with what? Stocks? Oh, really? And how's that going to work? I don't understand people. Just buy gold. I mean, why is it so difficult? Buy gold and you can retire tomorrow and you're fine, or we'll retire in October. That's what I don't get. No, my broker put me in stocks because they've always performed well. And you're like, oh my God. So what's wrong with buying gold? Because it only goes up. That's a bad thing. Anyway, that's about it. Yo-yo game with shorting and buying. You're right, Luke. But see, it's different because we understand the game. If you didn't understand the game, you think, oh, people are selling or something's happening. It's not really, people are selling their gold or consolidating it, which is what the pros were trying to tell us about 2 months ago. No, it's derivatives. It's the banks trying to control the price. Nobody's selling gold, and no, there's no consolidation. Who the fuck's selling their gold at this cheap price? So no, it's derivative. The whole game is derivatives, paper. That's the point of it. So anyway, that's that. Time for dinner. I got chicken I can cook, and had my avocado. Strange day. I didn't really have lunch. I did the interview at 11:30 to 12, and then I thought I fucked up because I said, "Oh, thanks for hiring me," and then she didn't hire me yet. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But if the boss wanted me, I don't see why I wouldn't get. It's a contract, 6 months to hire, so I should get it. But it's frustrating. Can't wait for the break. Yeah, soon, October. Figure October. And That's when BRICS changes the game, because it'll gold-backed currency changes the game. We're in the middle of a recession. The stock market's going to crash. And so there's so many things that'll get people to run into gold. Look at the Bitcoins crashing, 50,000 headed down. So you're safe in real, buy a Rolex. You'd be safe in that. Like I said, the mantle cards, because they're real assets. You want to own real assets. Buy a Picasso, buy a Van Gogh. I mean, you can't lose on those, because the demand's more than the supply. That's what you want. Something where the demand's more than the supply. Enjoy my eve. Good luck with the job. Thank you, Luke. I'll tell you tomorrow. I'm supposed to hear at some point tomorrow, probably by noon, I guess. Although I thought I had the job, so this guy does a bad job. I was kind of pissed about it. And then I was scared I fucked up by saying, thanks for giving me the position. I'm happy to join your team. And I told him, he says, I told you to prepare for an interview. I did prepare for an interview, but I didn't, I thought I had the job because of what you said. So we'll see. But they want to move in a hurry, and I have good experience. And she liked I'm flexible and everything I learned at GM and Mercedes. So, they know I'm going to learn it. The guy said, have you ever used SQL before? And I go, well, I think something close. I don't think that. But again, it's not something you would normally use in finance. It's more of an IT function. But when I looked on Yahoo, or I looked at YouTube on it, it's a piece of cake. You're taking this whole database and you're taking bits out. So it was like green, yellow, red, and blue. And you said, give me the greens. That's SQL. Go to the table with everything, pull out the greens. And then maybe you say, give me the greens with four bars, or give me, so it's like, here's the NFL. All right, give me the quarterbacks, and then give me the quarterbacks who had winning records, or give me the cornerbacks in the NFC. That's all it is. It's not difficult at all. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. Don't worry about the gold. It's going through the roof. Just think about it. They're fighting. It's like me fighting I don't fight with Daria, but it's like I'm fighting for waiting. I want to see you, and she's trying to see me, but maybe that wasn't a good example. But it's point A and B where the U.S. has no gold, so they're fighting to keep the price down, and Russia and China have all the gold, are fighting to keep the price up. So there's this fight going on. That's what all these wars are about. And eventually the market controls, and eventually the free market will control for gold and silver, and it'll be good. Even though the dollar will go to zero, it should be replaced with the gold. If you just replace it with the gold-backed currency, nothing happens. It's fine. So I doubt they're smart enough to do that here. They're too stupid. All right, that's about it. Any other questions, comments? Luke, anybody else? Bobby Bowe, where are you? We saw Bobby for a day, and then actually 2 days, and then that's it. So anyway, just be stoic. We know we're right. Don't listen to the people. Oh, the dollar can't possibly go out. Yeah, right. That's what the Romans say. It's funny. And then when you bring up the Romans, nobody knows what to say to you. So anyway. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully earlier, about 2 or 2:30. But again, I had the interview, so it was 11:30 to noon. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Football starts the 24th. That's getting close. 13th, 20th. It's 2.5 weeks away. Pro football starts after Labor Day. So have a nice night, everybody. All right. Take care.